I told our team if you just look at our box score on the bottom where we are, and we shoot 50%, 56 from 3. We didn't make very many free throws. 14 turnovers, which, for us, solid. There you go. It's probably a pretty good game. But there's the other part of the box score, and the Aces were 141 offensive rating tonight. We were a 111, and they were 141. And obviously an individual player dropped 40 on us. The Aces are good, no doubt about that. And Plum was exceptional. But I was hoping for a little more resistance than what we got.
I was gonna say tough loss to a great team, but do you take any positives out of this game? Obviously, we had the win streak that ended tonight, but there's a lot of positives you can look at from the win streak. And then also, were there any matchup breakdowns for Plum or Wilson to try to slow them down before the game that you came into, trying to make sure you limited them?
Yeah, I mean, we tried something different than we did the games in Vegas. I think we probably had all our perimeter players that guarded Plum at one time or the other, so I don't necessarily know that it was any one matchup. She got by us. It's interesting because there's good players, at every position. And it just, for whatever mentally, we get into this my man thing. And so our team defense was just really lacking. Plum made everything, obviously, made her threes, made her floaters, got to the rim, made layups, just a little bit of everything. I just like, to make sure that the points in the paint, that she was getting, to be a little harder. But we just weren't there for each other. I don't know if we were afraid to move, that our player was going to do something, but we just didn't have what I would have liked, a little more connectedness in our. The main focus point was, hey, Plum is going to beat us because we are going to get out there on her. We were going to shell help, and we were going to help the helper, and we were going to fly around, and we just didn't do that. And maybe that was wishful thinking on our part as coaches, that we don't necessarily come off of practice, where it's what you should do all the time. Some of the opponents over the last 5 games didn't necessarily put us in those same situations, to exploit it. But they moved the ball. They moved the ball a hell of a lot faster than what we were moving our bodies. And like I said, a good team. What are the positives? I don't know. I've never been a very good coach with that kind of stuff.
Got you. What do you think you guys could have worked on as far as moving the ball more? On the offensive end, obviously the ball was a little more stagnant, and Fee didn't get it going, and Diamond didn't get it going too much tonight. But how do you kind of bounce back from that?
Well, I mean, we've been a good ball movement team. We didn't. I thought we were trying to do hard things. They were getting easy things. We were trying to do hard things. 11 shots blocked at the rim where we were just forcing. I mean, you guys watched it. We just forced it. Would have liked to have seen us kick it out and put them in closeout situations, and we certainly talked about that. We've been a team that's been fairly solid at that. So. We were playing into their hands a little bit. Their rim protection is pretty solid with Stokes and Asia Wilson. That's a pretty formidable front line. Probably one of the biggest things in bold on our board was don't challenge the shot blockers. It was in Vegas. It was a game of 7 blocks, a game of 9 blocks, and then we come here and it was a game of 11 blocks. So we needed to move the ball a little bit better.
Got you. And after the game, a lot of mutual respect between both teams. I think that's probably one of the first times I've seen everybody almost talking, high-fiving after the game. You were giving hugs out. Just what type of level of respect do you have for that organization and that squad, and just what it meant, like being
I wouldn't
able
get
to
carried away, man. I wouldn't get carried away.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean, I went a little far there. There's some national team players that we shared some good times with, and so respect to those players.
Okay.
I wouldn't go further than that. Gotcha. I can't speak to, hey, when somebody just kicked your ass, of course they're all happy, and there's lots of love to go around their part, and but no, I mean, other than the respect for the national team players, that was it.
Gotcha. And last one for me, you guys got beat on the boards tonight. how can you improve the rebounding as a collective?
Well, if they miss some shots, we would get more rebounds. All right, so
Imagine.
don't hold that against us tonight. I don't know
won't.
defensive rebound percentage.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but there weren't a whole lot of rebounds to be had.
Gotcha.
Cheryl Diamond had a couple of early fouls, but it seemed like she battled through it much better tonight than past
Yeah.
games. Fair to say? Would you
She
agree?
did. Yeah, she did. And I just went back to her. I said, don't foul. And she knows. I mean, honestly, look at her collegiate career. She spent most of her career in foul trouble, right? So it's going to be her thing. And she's just going to have to mature, as becomes really important that you have a player like that you have to be on the floor. You have to learn. I've had players like that. We've drafted players like that, and everybody goes, oh, well, they get 6 fouls as a pro. I said, no, it's like having money. The more money you have, the more money you spend. So she has to figure it out. And like if you're going to foul somebody, let it be really worth it. Don't reach in. Don't do this silly stuff. And she just has to learn. And we're going to keep working with her. And this was a game, like we talked about beforehand, that I wasn't going to, sit her with 2 fouls in the first half. I was not going to do that to her. She had to get back out there and see if she could figure out how not to foul and stay in the game. And she did. So that was a positive if we're looking for a positive.
Another positive. You'd won 5 in a row coming in. Was this any kind of a wake-up call? I mean, just was one even needed to?
No.
Here's where the top is.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we have a locker room that thought that they arrived. I've said this before. I mean, when you have teams that go on runs and have good parts of the season, schedule has a lot to do with that. And we won road games. I really like the team that we are on the road, and you still have to beat the teams. There's no easy, but our schedule, if we're playing, Vegas 2 out of 5 times like Indiana did, or you're playing the top. I mean, it's a little bit harder to go streaking.
Sorry. There was a stretch there where in the second half, you guys were within 10, and then they just, got to 20 plus.
Boom, 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 9 in a row.
But Kelsey was making those answer shots. Other than Diamond, I think there was in the second quarter she had a run there where she was getting it going. Nafisa was maybe a little bit late to the party, which she normally isn't. If I could have said someone would have had 40 the way she was playing earlier, it probably would have been her.
Yeah.
Is there a way for her to get you going just before the All-Star break in this last game?
Yeah, I think you got to look at the defenses a little bit too. Those are games when Fee's playing power forward, when you've got Wilson and Stokes, and the attention, in the paint. It's not an easy team to score in the paint on. And we got 42 points in the paint. It's a bit surprising. But like you said, Fee didn't really kind of put her stamp on the game, and obviously it gets harder for us, as a team when your best player isn't, establishing themselves. But anytime she gets that much attention, I didn't think we did a very good job playing around her. And we talked about that a little bit. That even Diamond, when she would roll and she would get the attention, there's 3 people. There's a chance to play behind that action. Same thing with Fee, like play behind it, move it, attack the closeout. I mean, the number of times that we said that very thing. In games in general, but certainly tonight, we talked about that. I just thought we were trying to do hard things. Fee didn't have very many easy opportunities. I probably needed to, get a little more focus with her on her perimeter attempts because Wilson and Stokes having to come out to the 3. So I probably could have done a better job there to help her, try to get some stuff earlier. But we also felt like they switched a fair amount. So we liked what we were getting versus the switches. We just couldn't complete plays to her.
Going to the Zoom with Mitchell.
Cheryl, one of the positives was, obviously seeing Rachel and Nina kind of, lead you guys off the bench as well as Bridget. What did you think from them, and what did you see from them?
I'm really enthused by our really positive group that we have here. The media, you guys are, great. All these positives. It's refreshing for me. I think that Nina and Rachel and BC, just like we saw in who we played last, Phoenix game, they come in and helped us as well. They've been pretty darn solid for us this season, and again today. So I think that's just what they've been doing, and I'm happy they were able to get that done again today.
Any further questions?
Any other positive thoughts? Anybody have positive thoughts? It's a great group. This is fun. And you know what? This is like, I miss Kent, but man, he would have brought this shit down if he were here, right? All right, thanks.